what's your take on where Jaden is with your offense right now, 5 days before opener?
I'm pretty comfortable. Probably going to take a few things out, and we all knew that going in. We worked extensive drop back pass game all throughout camp, and that's going to help us in the season, all throughout the rest of this season. It might not necessarily run some of those plays in this game, but we just wanted to work on his eyes, dropping back, pocket presence, feeling the pocket, all of that stuff, and getting as many reps as that as possible. So we're going to skim the offense down here after we get back after lunch and look at everything, and then we'll have 2 days to kind of hone in. But once we do that, I know I'm going to feel even more comfortable and take out some of the gray area stuff and just let him operate some of the things that he's really comfortable with operating. So I feel, to answer your question, I feel really good right now. Yeah.
What are the primary things that you say to him day of a game, day before a game, week of a game that you want him to continuously focus on?
When in doubt, just turn around and hand it off to Benjamin. It's like it's a get out of jail free card. You don't have to feel the pressure, and the world is not on your shoulders. And so we have a good run game. We work on our run game. It's not a secret. If we put a pyramid up of how we designed our offense, and the bottom of that pyramid is the run game. Right? That's the base foundation. And so just trust in the base foundation. We have a lot of good run plays in. We feel really good about it. So you don't have to do anything outside the framework of the offensive structure. Just do what you've been coached to do, and don't feel the pressure. Don't put more pressure on you than what really is, And so, don't get a distorted reality, of what's going on, So I think he'll be okay. He's pretty even keeled that way.
You speak of even keel. Is his maturity something along the years of quarterbacks that you've coached that impresses you for his age?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the reasons we picked him too is he's off the charts in that area, and I make it really hard for him in practice, and I tell him, if some little short 51-year-old man can get you out of your game, by yelling at you, man, wait till you start playing some big games, in the Pac-12. And he just looks at me like I'm crazy half the time and just shakes his head, turns around and goes on to the next one. He doesn't let me phase him, anybody phase him, and so I'm happy with where he's at in that area.
What's the status of Jordan Curley? Do you have any other injuries?
Yeah, he practiced today. He was fine. Yep.
What's Brandon Pierce look like? Why did you guys decide to add him? Where will he play?
We got to get him. He's going to be play specific. Now we can't just throw him in every time we want to get him the ball, or people will kind of figure that out. He's just learning the offense, but we'll put him in, and he'll be in on some run plays, and then the ball will go to him. So we're going to put him in the game and let him just get his feet wet with some stuff. And the thing that he brings to the table is he has elite speed and elite quickness. He is a really good understanding of how to run routes. Just out there with him today, he was able to take just a few things that I asked him to run, and I didn't have to coach it a lot. He just kind of picked up on it right away as far as running routes. So he's a good route runner. He's really quick. He's dangerous with the ball in his hand, and he has elite speed.
What are some things that Kent State does well that you guys are preparing for?
They do a really good job of stopping inside run plays. Like the inside zone is almost non-existent against them when you go and spread sets. They do a really good job of that. They try to get everything to bounce out to the perimeter, which most 50 front teams do, and that's basically offenses. We brought that on ourselves with these spread offenses. Now guys just aren't going to let you run the zone against them anymore, make you do other stuff, which is smart on the defensive side of the ball. So they do a really good job of that. They put strong guys up front, hold the line, hold their gap in the run game, let the safeties come downhill. They got experienced linebackers. They do a good job stopping the run, and they commit guys to the run. So you're going to have to beat them with play action pass, throwing the football, things like that, and like any other team, not giving any secrets. And then on third down, they become a different type of team with 4-man fronts, blitzes, speed rushers, things like that, which is very typical of 50 teams. So they have third down ideas, the packages of what they do. So you got to kind of like prepare for two different types of game plans, and their record might not have shown it, and you know, some people jumped on them early on some stuff, but you know, you go back and you watch the the Ole Miss game, kind of tells you that like what they could do, you know, because it was what 7-7 I think or something like that in the third quarter maybe or something. So it's going to be a really good fun challenge.
ASU hasn't played a lot of MAC teams, but I'm sure you have an appreciation of MAC football and how some of those teams have risen up and
Right.
either beaten a Power 5 team or, you know, challenge for a New Year's Bowl or something like that. Can you just talk about the
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when I was in Division II, I was in 1AA, I was at you know, lower level teams at conferences, non-major conferences and major conferences. So I've coached like almost at every single level there is in football except Division III. And this is like a game where, you know, like Fresno when they played us in the bowl game, it's like, hey, you know, we're not in the Pac-12. People don't see us as a Pac-12 team, but we're going to go out and prove something. And it's very similar to them. And you know, if I'm them, I can't wait to come up in here. I got nothing to lose. I'm going to just play free, carefree. I'm going to play hard and fast, see what happens, all that stuff, you know. And so this is a big game for them. And what you try to do on our end is like, man, don't get caught in the trap where you get nervous about, oh, we're supposed to win this game. No, you're not. You're supposed to go out there and play the game as hard as you can. And then if you deserve to win, you'll win the game. All right, that's the way you got to think about it when you're in our shoes. Like, no, you go out there and deserve to win the game. There's nobody that's supposed to win the game. Don't look at the Vegas line and all that crap. That means nothing, you know. And so, you know, that's the kind of mindset I want our guys to have.
Just going in, is there any sort of plan to maybe work Joey in at different times?
No, I don't. I just don't think that way. I won't. I just don't allow myself to think that way. I've coached enough football. I've got enough experience, Herm as well, that if that presents itself, then you can. But I don't even like when people ask me. And no offense, that's a great question. But when people ask me that question, I just stop them in their tracks and go, don't even say, don't if we. I can't. I'm just thinking about getting the first down.
Speaking of Joey Young, you guys had a pretty wide open quarterback battle entering the fall. Usually, at least in recent trends in college football, guys transfer, but all the quarterbacks seem to be buying into the program. What makes this group different from what's happening across the nation?
It's the same reason why I came to work yesterday on my day off at 6:30 in the morning. Is I love being here. I just like, and I told Coach Herm that's the first thing I did. We pulled into the parking lot together yesterday morning on our day off at 6:30, and I got out of my car and I said, Coach, I just want to tell you something. Thank you. I said, because for me to come in on my one day off, I got probably until December, and I just couldn't wait to get to work this morning at 6:30, and it's because of you. It's because of the environment that you've created here, and the players feel that. They love being here. They love being in. Joey, you know, he just got back. You know, he had to go home for personal reasons, and he just got back yesterday, and I just saw it in the hallway. Kids were like, man, we missed you. Like, it's just a great environment and a great culture. I think Joey feels like loved here. And so, and I'm sure, you know, the whole quarterback thing, all of that has gone through his mind, just like every other kid in the country when they become second team or third team quarterback. But I think he looks around and he sees like, man, I really love being here. I love these guys. I really do. And it's not just fake. I'm not just saying that. There is a real love here and a real culture that, man, I love, and so do the players. They just love coming into this building every day.
Do you think
I'm
that?
not sure how familiar you are with Andrew Luck, but do you have some thoughts when a guy has to make that decision and he's gone through all these injuries for repeated years to get to the point where, you know, you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I watched a little bit of his press conference, and you could just feel it. Like when he was talking, he was truly, he was thankful to the media. I mean, he was just telling the truth. It's just like, there comes a time where like, man, you know, it's time to go be a good dad, time to go be a good husband or whatever. And, you know, walking around with a limp for the rest of my life, or worrying about kidney failure, or worrying about concussions or something like that after you've had things like that happen to you, yet that just starts running through your mind, and you start thinking about life and what is the absolute most important thing in life, and it's people you love and your family. And I think he wants to go spend some time with those people, and I think that's very admirable.
Is Curtis's situation shorter or longer, do you think?
I saw him running today. I saw him moving his limbs pretty good. I'm sure he's out for this game, but I think that I was very encouraged watching him run around today. So hopefully it's going to be a lot shorter than we anticipated.
Jaden, do you feel a pressure or emphasis on kind of easing him in, or are you comfortable hitting the ground running?
Hitting the ground running. I don't want to, just like when you guys saw when we brought Dylan into the game against USC, the first play I called was a long bomb. Like, we're going to call plays according to what he can do. Dylan can chunk a deep ball, so he's going to play one play, he's going to chunk a deep ball. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't kind of concern me. I don't think Jaden's like that. I don't worry about him panicking and all that. If we feel like a pass is the first thing to do on the first play of the game, that's what we're going to do. If we feel like it's an RPO, if we feel like it's a bootleg, if we feel like it's just handing the ball off to Eno, we haven't even decided that yet. I usually decide that on Wednesday afternoon, Thursday morning, what the first script's going to be. So, but that does not, just because it's going to be his first game, I just won't let that enter my mind. We named him first team quarterback for a reason, because we believe in him.
Where does it leave your mind, just knowing that you guys have more of a veteran on the line, and starting a true freshman, like, last night Miami started a freshman, and their own line was very new, but, ASU having more veteran presence up front, how much does that ease your mind?
Well, going into the game, I was trying to put myself in Miami's shoes, and you're thinking, okay, pass protection early. Am I going to leave those guys hanging out on an island? You got to think about all of those things. Are we going to slide the protection away from a guy, chip the defensive ends with a tight end, running back combination? How are you going to attack the defense and not let those guys just get annihilated at the beginning of the game with some SEC speed rushers coming off the edge? I remember thinking, man, I'm glad I don't have to think about that. So that's a great question. Like, all of those things would be going through my mind right now if that was the case, and they're not. So that puts me at a pretty good comfort level going into the game that, okay, we can call these plays. I don't have to, every time we throw a drop back pass, do I have to attach a tight end over there? Do I have to do this? So it frees us up a little bit.
What is the advantage of opening your season versus a more lower level opponent versus something like Miami or Florida?
I think that if you're at Florida or Miami yesterday, you're not just dealing with the first game emotions, you're also dealing with rivalry emotions. That's why you saw however many penalties they had and turnovers and miscues and all that stuff. It wasn't necessarily the first game. It was the first game compounded by that's a rival game too, and the emotions are off the charts. All right, so I think that was a little bit different. And so I don't think that when you play a game that's out of conference against a team that you've never played before, and I know you said that, but I refuse to call them a lower level opponent, but you don't have to deal with those type of emotions. Now, we'll have the first game emotions. Obviously, they'll be jacked up, ready to go, but it's not like we're opening up with Arizona. Right, then you'd have a whole lot another type thing to deal with. Like, doesn't BYU open up with Utah? Mm-hmm. Like that's a scary game as for a coach, because you got so much going on around that game, and this isn't one of them. I think they'll have the first game emotions, but it'll be, hopefully it'll kind of be almost like a business as usual type mentality when they go out onto the field.
A lot of the buzz was around who's going to be the next quarterback, but also there was a pretty big gap left behind when N'Keal Harry moved on to the NFL. Who are some guys you like to contribute in this offense coming out of the wide receiver position?
Yeah, you'd like to see Brandon Ayuk do some good things. I know he can do it. I've known that since we've recruited him. He's just need to have a chance. Like to get Kyle Williams, like to see him. Frank Darby, I think, will always be a presence in a game here or there. That's just what he does. He's always going to be catching a deep ball or something, that's going to impact the game. But I think Brandon Ayuk is a guy that is ready, to kind of go out there and show what he can do. And I'm not, the freshmen, they just need to go out there and know how to line up right now and not worry about being the star. And it was a great question because I talked to our entire wide receiver group today for like 15 minutes, and we talked about, every movie that you go to, they have stars and then they have co-stars. And a movie wouldn't be very good if all it was the star walking around on the screen. There's got to be co-stars, right? And so you never know when if you're going to be the star of the game at wide receiver in this offense. You never know when you're going to be the guy that catches 7 balls or you catch 1. You don't know that. I don't know that. I can script handing you the ball or throwing you a screen, but we can't script who gets the ball and drop back pass. The defense dictates that. So you don't know. So don't worry about it. Don't buy into it. And, I told him, hey, if you catch 1 pass this game, you may catch 8 next week. So just play as hard as you can. Don't worry about being the star.
Thanks, Rob.